The modern AAA Western games industry is dying. Oh no, such a tragedy. Who would have seen this coming? Anyway, moving on. Japan also absolutely hates us. In gaming, they're pulling out. And in anime, oh well, they're pretty much gonna ban the Western world because localizers, who everyone, not only Japan, hates because they're a bunch of loser activists, are also doing destruction and censorship, which everyone obviously hates. And in the meanwhile, China, via Tencent, is trying to kill the indie industry of the West and also take any AAA games along as they can, which is actually kind of based because any company that trusts China and anyone who thinks China is good deserve the fate that they will inevitably get, in my opinion. So that part's pretty based. But in any case, if you're a Western game developer, man, it's a good time to receive a little bit of that karma, eh?
Oh man, Eastern companies are leaving the West. I love this. I think that a lot of people have taken notice that a lot of games look the same, sound the same, play the same, smell the same. And a lot of this is coming from an oppressive culture driven by middle management midwits that believe that their opinions, their values, their beliefs, their worldviews need to be reflected in all forms of media. And it's turned.
Now, I agree with this, but granted, it's if you think that the games industry problem is middle management, you have not paid attention what kind of people are actually developing the stuff that you want to play or say that you would have interest in playing, okay? It's not the middle management. It's the people down at the very bottom of the ladder also who are intentionally ruining everything.
Turned into a sort of soft censorship. Most of these issues, nearly all of them, are being exported from here in the US, my home soil, the good US of A. And these guys are so self absorbed. They don't care about what it takes to make a good game, they don't care about the audience. The only thing that they can think about is shareholders, their personal or political leanings, and their incompetence and their influence doesn't just extend to.
Okay, listen, boys. We need to stop the cope with the evil shareholders. Again, have you ever heard the single shareholder and holder call? No, you have not. If you would never actually say this because you would know that the shareholders have absolutely no clue what's happening in any of these game companies. They barely understand what modern video games are. Their questions at most are, so are you gonna make like a sequel for this that's gonna make us a little bit of money? And the typical company answer is, yeah, sure, buddy, whatever. Yes, that's how much the investors matter here, okay? None of these companies are thinking about the investors, trust me when I say this, okay? They do not care. They have, if they were thinking about investors, they would be making games with hot girls. Okay? We would not have Aloy and we would not have advertisements. Oh, look at Aloy. Do you see how manly her face is? Do you see the hair follicles because she does not shave? Yeah. Yeah, that's we would not have that if these companies cared about investors and making money, okay? Gaming would be a lot better, in fact, in my opinion, if these companies did care about making money for investors, because then we would not have any garbage. That's how easy it is.
Their games, it's now extended overseas. And this has turned into a sort of cultural erasure. We're going to call it colonization because, we're pretty good at that.
God, I love colonization. Best thing ever.
And the East is sick of it. They don't want to have anything to do with it anymore. So you have companies like Square Enix that are closing down shop, they're laying off workers, and they're consolidating their efforts back in Japan because they feel like that's the best place for them to be making games. And the funny thing is that for whatever reason, nobody has taken notice that this has been going on for a while now, 5 years in the making. Japan is not alone in this. No, you've had companies in China, companies in Korea, as well as other companies in Japan that have been pulling their efforts out of the West and bringing them back home, trimming the fat, so to say. So today I want to talk about why that's happening. I want to talk about why Japan's biggest publisher is pulling back. I want to talk about why Japan's government is telling their artists to stop taking notes from the West, and why I think this is
based.
going to start a creative split that we haven't seen since the 90s. And it couldn't happen any sooner. This video is sponsored by boot.dev, the smartest way to learn layoffs, the studio closures, the failed games.
Listen, okay, I'll tell you a secret about boot.dev. Unless they unless they pay me for a sponsorship. In that case, I do not condone anything my future self is about to say. In any case, dude, if you need to be treated as a fucking child and gamify every single thing that you want to become better at, you probably don't want to become better at it. Okay, that's just how simple these things are. Okay, if you need to be treated as a child to learn something, you probably don't actually care about it. And you're probably going to be shit at it. It is what it is.
They've been blaming the economy, inflation, tariffs, whatever the trending excuse is for that quarter. But what I don't think a lot of people have understand, or at least caught on to, is that this is not an industry-wide collapse. It's not global. I think what we're watching right now is the Western games apocalypse. It's one that's built on greed, idealism, ego, and the slow erasure of individualism in a space that used to thrive on distinct voices. You can feel it in just about everything that comes out from a AAA publisher today. These games do not carry the identity of the people or the studios that are making them. No, they carry the identity of one culture center, one value system. And because of that, they're getting trapped in this binary state. Either you have a game that is designed purely to wring as much money out of its customers.
Okay, I have a feeling we could have just said woke, and that would have covered kind of all of the points here, but okay.
As possible, or you have a game that's pushing a set of values, trying to win points in a culture that's more polarized than it's ever been. Profit over enjoyment on one side, moral projection on the other. What this has led to is more and more games, whether made in the West or simply influenced by the West, and they're releasing to an audience that simply doesn't exist. The same thing is happening in movies and TV. This isn't some hit piece on anyone's beliefs or values, by the way. People can believe whatever they want to. The issue is when the expectation is that everybody else,
unless it's stupid,
is required to bend to them, agree to them, and then pay for content that's built around selling someone else's worldview. This would be fine if it all stayed in the West, but of course it didn't. Whether it's the obsession with live service or the urge to export values the same way we export entertainment, this mindset has pushed itself into Eastern studios too, and the result has been pretty predictable. Bad localization, censorship, outright bans, forced adjustments to character designs and art. You don't have to be a part of any culture war to get hit in the crossfire. You just got to be making games or playing games, and slowly, piece by piece, these studios have been surrendering parts of themselves, parts of their own identity, because somebody else decided that their work needed to fit into a Western mold of what's acceptable. And this is something that I think...
Well, the studios themselves decided they should fit like that in it, okay? The big problem here, the biggest problem in my opinion, is that a lot of activists are currently in game development. That's why I'm always happy when I hear, oh, Xbox laid off 1,000 billion trillion people in the games industry. Yes, keep it coming. That's how we save this. Okay? When wokeness was eradicated, when people were saying, oh, we defeated woke, I said that that's not going to happen. I mean, companies are cutting back at woke. Like, what does that mean? I'm seeing no change. I'm not seeing them fighting the people who are for this and advocating for these outcomes. So what's actually going to change? Nothing.
Was echoed perfectly by the creator of Dragon Quest last year when he was asked why designs for Dragon Quest III Remake were being censored.
Bam, look at that. That's video quality right there. Like the video right now. You cannot get any production quality like this on any other channel. Like, look at me. Like, look at this. Look at this. It was from here to here. If that's not worth a like, subscribe, and donating all of your money to me, I don't know what is. Listen, you living in the modern age have a choice. Do you go on, like, Twitch and donate $200 to already a millionaire? Or you donate those $200 to me, who's not a millionaire, on his way to become a millionaire soon, hopefully in the next 5 years, if everything goes well for me. Okay? You can either be an idiot and donate to the millionaires, or you can help me become a millionaire. That's like so much better. Okay? like the video right now, subscribe, haven't already, it takes less than a second, and on a serious note, it helps a lot, so thank you for everyone who does that. And if you think this stuff is important, then definitely like the video right now. It takes less than a second. Thank you. Thank you. I do appreciate it.
まあまあね。
全連連じゃなくなってしまうっていうのがあ
まあ
ったりとか。
ルールがやっぱなんか各国違ったりするんでね、広く売ろうと思うと一番厳しいところに合わせざるを得ないとか。
でも
当時そんなこと思わなかったですけどね。
コンプラっていう名のね、やっぱりね、ある種のね、なんだろうな、絶対心と。
It's also actually kind of stupid that these people are like, oh, we need to make the game release on all ages. This is the same stuff they do for movies, by the way. This completely nonsensical idea that, oh, if we don't release it on E for everyone, it's not gonna sell. No, it's gonna sell. It's 100% gonna sell.
と言うべき、善の名を借りた悪みたいなのがある。
はいはい。
全員が不快感を覚えないなんてことはないわけ。
Under the name of compliance, it's like an absolute god, and evil disguised as good. Man, that line goes so hard. You know this dude makes banger games. We went from starting wars over oil to telling girls to put on a shirt. My deepest apologies to the rest of the world. This
Again, wars over oil, at least were funny.
brand of ideologically driven censorship is not just coming from Western game studios, it's coming from ratings boards, governments, and worst of all, credit card companies. These are the people who are basically telling these artists and these creators, bend to our values or we will break you financially. And the irony is that even with all this self-censorship, even with all the compromised creative directions, these companies are still losing money, a lot of money, because nobody wants to buy the end result. And those financial losses have not stayed contained. They have sent shockwaves across the ocean. Eastern governments are finally starting to wake up to what's happening, and they're actually doing something about it. Japan's Ministry of Economy, Trade, and Industry stepped up to defend its creative industries, especially games, manga, and anime, pushing growth while rejecting Western interference and restrictions.
And by the way, all of this because they wanted to censor anime in the West. And oh no, but not only censoring anime in the West is not the correct way of doing it. They wanted payment processors to also censor anime in Japan. That's how it should be said. This all started from there. Oh boy.
Being forced on them by global platforms and payment processors. The ministry's new policy lays out 5 key principles: large-scale, long-term strategic support, support for spreading Japan-made content globally, no interference in content of creative works, direct support for creators and companies, prioritizing those willing to take risks. And now I love to see a government actually stepping up to protect its local industries. And the best part is these guys are not doing it alone. No, these companies are starting to fight back too, not with speeches, but with their budgets. Because when the West is trying to bully you into submission, you got to remember there's only one language to speak, and that language is money. Stop investing in them, stop hiring them, stop relying on them, and they will change their tune. And that's exactly what some of these Eastern game companies have.
LOL, some of these companies are literally gonna choose actual death over not being woke at this point. You know it, I know it, everyone knows it.
Started doing. Every major publisher in the East has been systematically rolling back their Western footprint, consolidating their efforts back home. In 2024, Nexon laid off hundreds of workers at Nexon America under the banner of exciting IP growth strategy. Tencent has closed 3 Western studios and laid off hundreds of workers. NetEase shut down 6 Western studios.
Tencent did that because they are currently abusing the fact that America is not really going against China and is trying to actually strike like some kind of fucking trade deal or something like that, which is probably never gonna happen. And so China's just trying to destroy as many Western game companies as they can. Again, I talked about this previously. The whole thing that's currently happening is Tencent is coming in saying that, oh, we give you money, you make a game now. And they don't actually give them the money, they just give them a promise of money, okay? By the way, China has done this literally for decades. Again, this is why I'm saying, if you think China is great, if you think China is good, I mean, you deserve everything that you're gonna get from those stupid beliefs. China has not probably created a single new thing in the past 3 decades, maybe 4 decades, they have not made a single new thing. All of their discoveries are lies. Again, a month has not passed since I last talked about it, okay? Every single day, China is discovering the greatest gold reserves in the human history in their country. The coal reserves, this and that. I mean, 2 weeks ago, they discovered the new greatest gold reserve in their country, and that was like the 5th time that year that they have discovered that. China lies about literally everything, and one of their greatest things is they approach Western companies and say, "Hey, like you can build your shit here in China for like 1/10 of the price, and it's gonna all be good, King." These companies come in. And then China just steals their shit and closes down shop. A story literally almost as old as time at this point, and yet companies keep doing the same mistake. And now China has figured, wait a minute, we can take NetEase, which is pretty much just the arm of the government at this point, and we can just approach the West because America's not going to do anything about it, and we can tell them, oh yeah, we're going to give you money, it's going to be great, just start making this thing. And then it's like, oh, I'm sorry, we're actually not going to give you the money, you see? And these companies can't do anything because what are they going to do? Sue NetEase in China? No. Of course, well, you can try if you're completely autistic. But most companies at least understand that that's pointless. So they get absolutely they just get absolutely wiped. And these companies are doing this so much. How many? It's such an easy principle. And yet, again, if you trust China, you get what you get. It is what it is.
Studios adding to more than a dozen closures since 2022. And now, Square Enix is joining them. In an article from IGN written by Rebecca Valentine titled, Square Enix undergoes mass layoffs as it reorganizes to consolidate development in Japan, Rebecca writes, via public posts from former employees as well as confirmation
Also, this is not the same, okay? Square Enix is actually like, wait a minute. Us investing into the overseas American garbage is not paying off because we're just getting a bunch of folk losers who want a virtue signal more than actually make good stuff. So, how about we just make a game here in place but Nippon, rather than actually waste resources in like America or Canada or France or Spain or whatever. That's what these people are doing. Okay. It's the same reason why most people who are smart know that CDPR is dead, considering they decided to go from Poland to, what was it, San Francisco? No, was it LA? I don't know, one of those places that costs more than it's gonna ever be worth to hire people there, and the other is like Montreal, Canada. You know, the most focused place in Canada and like one of the top 5 most focused places in America. This is how people figured out that, wait a minute, CDPR is dead.
From internal sources, IGN has learned that employees in the UK and the US are being informed of layoffs today, with an unknown number of US employees being dismissed by the end of the week and a possible 137 jobs at risk in the UK. Under UK law, Square Enix must undergo redundancy consultations to see if any jobs can potentially be saved, so the final number in the UK can be smaller. It's not clear yet which teams will be impacted by this or to what extent. Internally, a slide presentation, now publicly available, was also shared with employees earlier today, offered a progress report on Square Enix's ongoing reorganization of overseas organizations, of which this restructuring seems to be a part of. Per Square Enix, this strategy already involved closing overseas development studios and shifting towards consolidating development functions in Japan. As a part of this, Square Enix already sold off Crystal Dynamics, Eidos Montreal, Square Enix Montreal, and a number of associated IPs to Embracer Group. It also laid off workers across its Western operations in 2024. That leaves
oh no, to Embracer Group? That is so stupid. Dude, when the Embracer Group thing happened, everyone was pissed, and I was like, well, you do understand this is just how these things work. This Embracer Group is not actually doing anything outside of outside of the norm here. And actually, it kind of looked smart at the start. But now Embracer Group is just buying all of the woke garbage crap, and I have no idea what they're doing at this point. Like, at the start of Embracer Group seemed kind of reasonable, but now every time I hear about the Embracer Group acquiring something else, it's just like it's a horror show.
Square Enix with Life is Strange, Outriders, and the Just Cause franchise is currently being managed by its Western studios.
Life is Strange has one, Life is Strange 2, Aftermath, or whatever it's called, it's garbage. And then it has where Max is a grown-up, and I did not buy it. I love the first Life is Strange. It's easily one of my top 5 games of all time. Life is Strange was amazing. A best lesbian simulator I have ever played in my life. Was amazing.
As well as publishing of the Power Wash Simulator.
I cocked a dude who was friendly to the bully. Told one girl to do a backflip when she decided, okay, life is too hard, man. You didn't help me, and now it's time to Minecraft. God, good stuff. You know what was the best part about the Minecraft thing? It was like you're supposed to go to the roof and you're supposed to talk Kate out of it, and I'm like, oh shit, I have not paid attention to anything Kate has ever said. I'm like, you're supposed to pick the choices that resonate with her, and I'm like, shit. Best shit ever, boys. Best stuff ever. Okay, that's how you do it. A good, actual good game, not like Dispatch. Holy.
I mean, can you blame them? Think about the kind of money that Square Enix is burning just by keeping these Western teams afloat. We're talking about studios that are getting paid Silicon Valley rates to churn out flops and drag the company's overall performance as well as their reputation. I saw a salary comparison last year that blew my mind. The average starting salary for a game developer in San Francisco was over $100,000. In Tokyo, it's less than $20,000. One American developer cost them the equivalent of 5 Japanese developers, or depending on how you want to look at it.
Well, yeah, that's literally how money works.
One American developer is actively contributing to why Japanese developers are getting paid so little. That's what Western expansion looks like on a balance sheet. And look at
no, that's literally not even remotely close how that works.
the franchises they just mentioned. Just Cause hasn't mattered in ages. Outriders exploded out of the gate and then just immediately collapsed. And Life is Strange, listen, I'm not going to judge anybody. It's just not my type of game. But even then, how many times do we have to hear 20 million players? What does that even mean?
Hell
Are those
yeah.
downloads, promotions? Is it Game Pass? There's commercial performance there, I'm sure, but I'm not sure that it's trending upward. No matter how many spin-offs or different DLCs they put out, it just hasn't caught on after that. Almost every single Western developed, Western published, or Western influenced project that Square Enix has touched has lost money. Marvel's Avengers was a generational disaster. Babylon's Fall died instantly. And Forspoken, man, I don't even know where to start with that one. But I do know why it happened. Misplaced influence, misplaced values, misplaced confidence, people pretending to represent the audience when they only want to represent themselves. And that mindset, that slow, creeping, boardroom-approved ideological drift spread through Square Enix like a cancer. It erased their identity, their voice, and their sense of artistry. It turned a company that has been known for some of the most imaginative games on the planet into one that couldn't stop greenlighting projects that nobody asked for. And when those losses kept piling up, I think they woke up. I think they finally realized they were being pulled in the wrong direction, not just in the West, but inside their own walls in Japan, because that influence didn't stay overseas. It bled into the creative core of the company, and that's when the alarm bell started ringing. These publishers are doing exactly what they need to be doing right now. While there's still a few Western developers and Western studios and Western games that are absolutely fantastic, these are studios that are living outside of the machine. They're not chained to the social political nightmare that we are entered into almost every single day. And while I'm sure this message won't reach you, you're doing the right thing. We need some time alone. Think about how much pressure these guys are under right now. They have ratings boards that are censoring them for showing too much skin. They have credit card companies that are withholding their money, cutting their distribution, delisting their games, or just outright flatlining their sales. The government are bought out by these credit card companies, and then you have Western media that is going to drag their games if they don't align with their ideological views. They're getting it from every single end. I couldn't imagine how these guys could take it any longer. No wonder they're fed up right now. This is the best thing that they can do. Absolutely, it's the best thing that they can do. They need to quarantine themselves. And better yet, the best way to be able to fix the West is stop letting them get a piece of the pie. Stop giving them money. Stop giving them jobs. I mean, look at how fast the manga and anime industries have grown over the past couple of years. I mean, the Chainsaw Man movie and the Demon Slayer movie absolutely just destroyed at the box office. All you got to do is wait them out. They'll come crawling back. They just need to make their own games. Don't listen to anybody else. Ignore everything that's going on over here. If you just make your own games, I can promise you it's probably going to be the best games that you've made in the past decade. We're going to buy it. I can tell you that right now. We actually already know that's the case. Because for all of the studios that have ignored any of this Western influence or any of the censorship that a lot of these guys have been put under, any of these people that are making games that are unapologetically Korean or Japanese or Chinese, every single one of these guys have found success. Too many games feel the same. There is so little distinction left between where any of these games are coming from that more than half the time, the only real identifier we have is the damn company logo. One of the clearest moments for me where this all just kind of hit me like a truck was Expedition 33. Sandfall is a French studio. That was a French game. That game didn't just have a French coat of paint, it lived in that artistic spirit. When I think of French art, I think of wild abandon, melancholy, and desperation, an obsession with creative expression. And Expedition 33, that game...
Well, at least he knew the country name, France. I mean, he kind of got that part right. Everything else... Okay. I mean, no one cares about the French, okay? I'm European, I know. But yeah, that melancholy and fucking what? The only thing France about Expedition 33 is the soundtrack. I ain't gonna lie. Everything else is... This is actually a really great thumbnail. Anyway, that was Legendary Drops, 10 out of 10. Bye.